It's been a couple days. Family's been at my house. Excited to get back to it though. We last left off a couple days ago at Advent of Code 2015, doing it in Go, day 13. Um, Today we're going to do day 14. Thanks for joining. Let's get to it. Okay, so to the Reindeer Olympics. Reindeers go fast, but they gotta pause for a minute. You know, this seems like a really bad idea if you gotta run them as a team. We'll see. They can only either be flying at the top speed or resting, not moving at all, and always spend whole seconds in either state. So Comet can fly 14 kilometers per second for 10 seconds, then has to rest for 128. Okay. It's like some trains traveling in certain directions at certain speeds. Um, let's see what our puzzle input looks like. Okay, there's not a ton of them, and it looks like there are pretty standard formats: name, can fly, number, kilometer, for, number of seconds. Okay, so that's good. There's no like minutes. There's no miles per hour. They're all seconds. Okay, that's good to know. All right. So I think what we're gonna need to do here is we'll do each reindeer at a time. What we can do is sort of maybe do some math with division and a remainder, right? So what we would do is, so the sort of full comet cycle, for example, here is whatever this is, 137 seconds, right? So every 130 seconds, he travels 14 times 10 kilometers, right? So what we'll do is we'll take the total time, divide it by 137, get that, multiply it by 14 times 10, right? Then we'll take the remainder, and if that remainder is less than 10, right? Greater than 10 or less than 10, we'll multiply that like remainder of seconds by the 14. Otherwise, we'll just do the 10 times 14 because they'll be resting at that time. And then we can do that for each deer and find out what sort of the highest number is. It doesn't seem to want to know what the name of the deer is, just how far they've traveled. All right, so I think that'll be good. What are we gonna have to do? We're gonna have to do it, I think, like the last one. What's the last one? The input. Yeah. So let's just copy day 13, rename it to 14. Input. Not that. So let's grab this. Save it. Do we have a test? Yes, we've got this. Do we have both of these guys? Dancer and all right, so they have different values, right? Let's just add these two separately. I have to find out if they have have those periods I need to get rid of. They do. Okay. You know, actually, it doesn't matter because we don't care about that. That value. Like we cared about Bob and whatever before, but we don't care about seconds. That's a standard value. Okay. So we'll save this stuff as our input. Let's close out of them then. Go to our main tests. Our load input should be the same. Making an array should be the same, but we're not going to have to do this string replacement. I'm cheating a little bit because we didn't make a test for that yet. Just know we're not going to need it. Get rid of that. We don't need to make combinations. Make strings, keys. We are going to need to make an int from strings because these are going to be, you know, the important parts. 14, 10, and 127 are going to be strings and not integers at first. So we're going to need to have that function. We're not going to care about making relationships. And we are going to want to return a distance. So we're going to do that. All right. We'll still comment that out, but all right. We've brought that back down to bare bones, and now let's sounds like I'm gonna have a child joining me in a moment. We'll see. Okay, so let's collapse this down. We can see more and slide this over. All right, so don't need this function. Don't need these functions. Do need string to int, and we will eventually have a part. Okay. So we'll just do one of these, right? And then here we're gonna just sort of copy this. Learning some tricks. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and test those two, I guess three. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up a terminal. Okay, that passes. So it's run all these tests. It's pulling in our input. It's splitting it up based on the space. And now we're going to care about actually parsing it, right? So one thing I think the way that we're going to call this, because it would make sense for an additional like part 2, is for them to change the time, right? You know, what about 3,000 seconds, right? That would be super super low hanging fruit for them to do, right? So we're going to make sure that that sort of gets passed in as a a parameter. But one thing that I am going to want to do is so what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through our list of reindeer, right? It's going to look like this. Um, and we need to get we need to get our first full like number of cycles, right? So let's think. What are we going to have to test? We're going to have to test. Let's grab this. We're going to test or they could even say like everybody has to go together at the same time, right? So they have to wait until all of them are rested and only go as far as all of them aren't rested or something like that, right? Because obviously Santa's reindeer can't just, well, I guess this is the Olympics, right? They do different stuff when they're pulling the sled. So let's see, test complete cycles. Okay, so in the case of so what will we be passing in? Maybe we can make a struct for these guys. No, I just don't want to. Let's think. So for complete cycles, what we'll do is we'll do some magic behind the scenes in order to get I'll do the math to plug it in, right? So in the case of Comet right here, no, I'll do the math on the other side. It would be what? 10, 127. We'll say total cycles. So 10, 127, and then our like input, right? So in this case, we have, let's say 1,000, right? So this is our example, right? And Comet is in the lead at actually let's all right, so let's figure this out. What do we want? So after 1,000 seconds, we want to divide it by 37, right? So that's how many complete cycles. So we would want to return we'll return 7 complete cycles. I wonder if this has a history. And then the remainder which is 41. Okay. So that's what I want to do. It's going to be 7 full cycles will be the first piece of this slice. The second piece of the slice is the number of seconds. And then what we can do is look at, we could have like the number of meaningful seconds, right? Hold on one second. I have a child calling me. Let me pause this for a second. All right, I'm back. Let's pull this to the side. Okay. So here's the question. Do we want to have then the number of remaining seconds, right? So these are going to be numbers that we multiply by so cycles. So this number will be multiplied by 10 and 14. And then this number is sort of going to be the remainder, right? So how many seconds in there? Hold on one second. Okay, so I guess the question is this number right here. You have to turn that down. Thank you. All right. This number right here assumes the full 10 seconds, right? Close out of this. This number right here, I think, should be like the remaining number of seconds, even if it is 10, right? So in this case, it should be 10, right? Because 41 is greater. So we'll have some logic in there that says what's the remainder if it's greater than this number, right? Return this number. If it's less than this number, return what the remainder is. Does that sound fair? I think it sounds fair. Okay, so that gives us what we want there. Let's look at our other guy here. So let's look at our amounts. 11, 162, I think. 162. And then also 1,000 seconds here. And we're expecting from this, let's see here, 1,000 divided by 173, so 5. And 5 times 173. Obviously, wait. Oh, minus 1,000. It's 135, which is less than, our total there, which will mean 11 seconds. Okay. All right, we'll have to come up with sort of an artificial test case. Let's just make it super easy. Make this like 50 seconds, like a 50-second sprint. And we'll make the time of their cycles 100, so that would mean 50 on, 50 off, right? And don't want it. That would be another 50. So 50 on, rest for 50, and our total time here is 1:01, right? So in this case, we would have 1 full cycle and 1 second of remaining time. Right. So let's go ahead and test it. Fails. We need to make our function. I don't remember what it was called, but we'll get there. Right. Func. Complete cycles, and then remember what we're going to pass in. We're going to pass in a couple ints, right? The first is fly is an int, rest int, and then duration. And what we're going to be returning. Okay. And then we're going to return with out of its and all right. Can you turn that down, please? Right. All right, so that's what we're coming in. What are we going to do, right? So we'll make a new variable, cycle equals fly plus rest, right? And call it complete cycles. It should be capitalized. So what do we got? Duration divided by cycle. Okay. How do I get rid of the remainder? Be floor, right? Floor number is round down. Oh, that's annoying. Because it needs to be a float 64. Can I do that? Math floor. Okay, well, let's do it. I don't know if it'll allow me to do this because those aren't int. Okay, because they need to be float. Maybe I can do. This is annoying. Can you hear that music in the background? All right. Hopefully I don't get a copyright notice because of a child playing with the tablet in the background. Let's see, what do we got here? I know I did this before. Let's see. All right, so this is what I'll do. I don't necessarily, well, I do care about cycle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make a variable float. It's going to be float cycles. Let's see. Bar float cycles equals duration plus cycle, right? Can I do that? Okay, not used. Okay, so complete cycles is going to be floor because that should work, right? What's this? Oh, I need to write float 64 here. Okay, can I do that? So do all these numbers need to be float 64s? This is really annoying. what's really annoying is there's no like reason. Okay, so this is what we call the cycle time. We're gonna have just cycles, and it's just gonna be this should be a float 64, right? Because it can't be an int. I'm doing this division, right? It's I don't like this at all. This is the annoying things because, like, when you know how to do it, but you just need to figure out how to do it in the language. I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? Um, maybe there's just a floor division. Ooh. We're gonna find it here. It's already the floor divisions. Okay, well, that's all we need to do, right? Um, because it's an int, it's gonna make it the floor division. Nice. Okay, so complete cycles will just be duration divided by. So this is something I've learned, right? So because the type of these are ints, and because the type of this is an int, it's going to do floor division with this division here, right? Because it can only be. All right. Wait. Let's round towards 0. But we'll see when we test it, right? Okay. So complete cycles. It's the number of complete cycles. Now we need to get another one, right? Which is the extra seconds. And that's going to equal duration remainder cycle time. Okay, right? So that's the remainder, right? And then we need to say if extra seconds is greater than or equal to fly, right? So complete cycles, remember that was the first number, and fly. Okay, that was the fly time. Because it's more than that amount of fly time, then it's all the fly time, right? Else we will return int extra seconds. Oops. We want complete cycles here. So complete cycles in extra seconds. Right, because if it's less than the fly time, then we're only going to have that remainder there. Okay, let's give it a try. Nope. All right. Cannot use direction type int as the type. I don't have a math floor. Oh, right, I didn't save it. Pass. All right. So now we're able to find out total cycles. Oh, we want to call it total cycles, don't we? Let's rename some of this stuff. And then we'll rename this as well. Okay. So now let's make one more value here. Hey, please stop. Please stop.
What are these, Dad?
They're not for you to play with, is what they are.
And what are they?
Okay. So we need to make a function. No, it's just going to be simple math, isn't it? All right, let's just see about part one. Let's uncommon part one. Our data is our test data. And what we want is it to return the lead, which is 120. Okay. Let's look at part one. We're passing in that string. All right. So all right, so we're going to have a farthest distance. To 0. Okay, so we'll increment that up as we go if we hit anyone that's greater than it, right? All right. So we don't care about our index and our EINDEER in range data. Okay. We're going to find their total cycles, right? Equals total cycles, and then we're gonna have to do some weird stuff, right? We have to make those ints, right? String to int, reindeer. Oh, it's gonna be ugly. Let's count. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need all this, don't we? Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so those are the first two numbers, and then our last number, remember we're gonna have to pass that in. What do we call that on the other one? Duration? Duration. All right, so string duration, and duration is an int. So we're gonna have to save this, go down here. Let's look at our 2503. That's going to be our puzzle input distance. On our test, however, we're going with 1,000. So we got 1,000 here. Okay, back here. Why is it unhappy? Huh? Why haven't I been able to do this?
Oh, so cozy and warm.
All right, let's just change it to what we have up here. Y equals string reindeer. Let's see if this works. Right. So that works. So let's make fly, and this one's rest, and it's 13. And here we're gonna add fly. You know what we're gonna do?
Yes. Dad, I just want to say one more thing. I'm gonna go to
All right. I don't want to do this string to int a number of times, especially for this fly, because we're going to be doing it a number of times, right? So I'm going to do these here. I could have made a function for that accepted a byte and returned the right, but too late. Okay, so here we go. We got cycles. This is going to be the int that oh, we got two of these, right? Oh no, it's going to be the 2 digits. All right, so now we got our stuff. Now we have to assess it. Distance equals let's do this other one too. Make it about variable. We'll call it sprint. And it is index 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So distance equals sprint times cycles 0, right? That's the total number of cycles, plus sprint. Sure, I don't need these, but they help me collect my thoughts, right? Sprint times cycles 1. And this isn't right? Because it's not sprint times cycles, it's sprint times cycles times seconds, right? Times fly. Okay. Splint times fry. So the number of cycles they do is going to be the times they do, for example, 14 times 10, right? And then we're going to add on sort of that remainder, which is this times however many other seconds. That might be one more cycle, right? But it might also just be 1 second, right? And what we're going to do is the logic, if distance is greater than farthest distance, then farthest distance is now going to equal distance. Okay, and then we're going to return farthest distance. All right, let's test it. Yee. Not enough arguments to call part one. Oh, this is supposed to be inside here. Okay. My test wrong. And this is in Mango. I probably did the same thing in Mango. Did not pass. Failed. What are you mad about? A to I. So that means we're not able to turn a number into an int. All right. So reindeer here. Oh.
What's this then?
It never turned it into an array. Data array equals, what do we have? Array. No, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm doing it down here.
She's going to poison.
Okay. All right. Now we should be gravy. There we go. Pass. I think we're ready to do the full guy. Let's do it. Go run main.go. All right, so first one is 2, 6. Hold on. All right, so let's do this input. 2, 6, 9, 6, and we got our gold star. All right, let's see what part 2 is. Sam doesn't like the old scoring system. Instead, at the end of each second, he awards 1 point to the reindeer currently in the lead. I'm going to have to completely re-architect this. So in the old way, right, I was going through and looking at each reindeer at a time to see what was the case at the end. Now we're going to have to do like an off and on range. And I think I know how I can do that, right? So what I'm going to do is make I know how to do this in Python, right? So you can make like a string or an array or something like that. And what I would have would be you would do, say, 14 10 times in a row, right? And then 0 127 times in a row. And right, I could make that for each reindeer, right? And what I could do is then iterate over a range, and look at the index and say, comet is plus 14, comet is plus 14, comet is plus 14, comet is plus 14, oh, 10 seconds, comet plus 0, plus 0. And then I could look to see which number was the greatest each time, right? So I think that's what we'll do. Don't know if we'll have time for it. I'm going to make a struct, right, for each of the reindeer, and I'm going to have each reindeer have, like their name, and each reindeer will have their value, right? Can I do that? Their each one will have their name, their like slice that's their 100 and in the case of who was it, comet, 137 index thing with a 14 14 14 0 0 0, right? And then as I iterate through, I think I can do that, and then I can say, and then a total that'll change at the bottom each time after I do each of them. Or I could just do like a cumulative total. So do comet the whole way through. At each index. So I'm like appending to comet all of those, 14, 28, etc., and then have that repeating itself. That just might be too much work though. And it's almost been an hour, and I thought this would be a short one. So actually, I'm going to think about this some more and come back to it. But I think that's what I'll do. Promise I won't do any work. Maybe I'll think about it while I'm gone. But I'll hit you up tomorrow at lunchtime. I'm going to get back on the schedule. December 1st is coming up. As soon as December 1st hits, I will be, instead of doing 2015, I will be doing 2021 in 55 hours and 35 minutes. So that's coming up quick. At midnight, I'm not going to do it at midnight. I'm still going to do it at lunch. So I'm not going to be one of those. Certainly, I wouldn't be a speedrunner, right? But yeah, I'll be doing that just a couple days. What's that? 4 days? 5 days? So, anyways, I'm going to keep on with 2015 until we get there. Maybe we'll get to day 18 or so, and then we'll get started on 2021. All right, until then, I will see you guys later.